Hello, everybody. Good evening. You are welcome to another edition of the CDAT HR Digest. And as always, we promise to bring you very interesting topics and very thought provoking topics as well that are relevant to the HR profession and to HR professionals at large. Today is no exception. We have quite an interesting topic, interesting in all aspects, if you ask me. We're going to be talking about personal branding for HR professionals. I know it's a topic that a lot of people, some groups of people have a certain sentiment towards it, and another group of people also have their own sentiment towards it. That's what makes it even more interesting. And so, my guest for today is none other than Miss Emmeline Date. But before I bring her on, I would like us to take a look at some programs that SEDAT Consult is currently running, one of which is the training on building a competitive grading system and salary structure. This time around, it's coming on in Kumasi. You asked, we listened, and we are bringing it your way. It's happening on the 3rd and 4th of July 2025. And so to be able to get more information, if you are interested, we would be sharing numbers with you by the end of the stream so that you can contact us and you get all the necessary details so that you can register. And so without much ado, I'd like to go on to introduce my guest. As mentioned, she's Emmeline Date, and she's a private speaker, a brands influencer, an HR strategist, a leadership and personal development coach, German Africa startup consultant, as well as an events consultant. As an HR strategist with up to 15 years of human resource general practice, she has had experience within several industries, including aviation, oil and gas, academia, media, wellness, fashion, medical laboratory, supply chain, and manufacturing. She is the founder and CEO of ICS Africa Limited, Impact Concepts and Solutions Africa, which is a budding Pan-African company that provides management consulting, personal and professional development, marketing and communications, as well as corporate events engineering and management services. She's also the founder and lead blogger of a digital platform called the Fearless and Fabulous Network, where she inspires women in leadership, faith, love, and career, personal growth, as well as to promote exceptional women globally. Additionally, she is the director of West Africa Female Leaders and Entrepreneurs Network, an African community of female leaders in business. Emmeline has chartered as a professional in the HR and PHR in 2014 with the Human Resource Certification Institute, USA, and possesses a first-class degree from the Valley View University in Human Resource Management and Advanced International Human Resource Management diploma in 2023. She also bagged a certification from the John Maxwell team as a certified speaker, trainer, and coach in August 2021. Emmeline has been honored as one of Ghana's 100 most influential women in 2017, one of the top 100 speakers in Ghana in 2018, one of the 2020 50 most influential young Ghanaians in 2022, Ghana Under 25 Mentor Awards in HR and Business Consulting, a Visionary African Woman Award recipient in 2023, and a 2023 Women of Color Creating Wealth International awardee. Woo! She has been further listed among the Eloy Foundation and Africa Women CEOs Network 50 power people who embody resilience, leadership, and advocate for women's empowerment and inclusion in Africa in 2024. A recipient of the 2024 International Africa Women Peace Awards, as well as one of the Young Global Leaders Network's 40 most inspirational female leaders in Ghana. Wow. Did you hear all of that? That tells you that our resource for today is powerful. She comes packing. So without much more talking, I'd like to introduce Emmeline. Welcome, Emmeline.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
To be here.
I like the things I was reading. We have a powerful guest in the house. How are you,
Thank you very
Emmeline?
much, Ophelia. I'm doing well, thank God, and you?
Good. I'm very well too. We thank God for life.
Awesome. Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Right. So, like I introduced earlier, we have a very interesting topic that we have to discuss today, if you ask me. And it's a topic where there are people on the east side and there are people on the west side. Now we're trying to sort of bridge it. And so let's start off by talking about what personal branding itself means. And then we try to connect it to its relevance as HR professionals. Why the need for personal branding?
Right. Ophelia, I appreciate the opportunity to be here again and to deal with a topic that is very dear to my heart. Um, Personal branding is something I've been involved in for a very long time as a thought leader, teaching it to young people and especially those who want to build a career for themselves. And personal branding in itself is a subset of the entire word branding, which is basically your the value proposition you have to offer to your clients in layman's terms. What value do you have to offer to anybody? Okay, what's your relevance to us? Why should we do business with you? Why should we engage you? Why should you be part of what we do? You know, so my question is, when there's a boardroom meeting, why would the name Ophelia come up? So Ophelia, let's try a test. What two things we mention about you if we're to discuss you in a room for business?
Okay. I would say my communication skills. Let me know if I'm answering this right. I'm a good communicator, and um, I handle processes. I manage processes, I guess.
Okay, I like the way you've given me an idea of what you are, but that is not what will get you in the room, because there are over 10 people that can do that have communication skills. 10 is even, I'm just using 10 to make you to let you see how serious it is. More than 10 have communication skills, but about 10 people in your profession have that skill, the two you've mentioned. So let me
Mhm.
further ask you, what value do you bring to any business? The Ophelia value.
Okay. So then I would say I bring solutions. I craft solutions to suit specific niches, and so that is the one main thing that I believe I bring to the table. That I'm able to brainstorm and bring solutions, unique solutions to unique problems.
Great. So I had to make you break it down because even what you said is still broad. So some people will
Mm.
go further to say, I am able to reduce or increase efficiency of businesses from 10% to 20% within a year by investing in corporate strategy, people, top talent acquisition, as well as probably effective business partnering solutions to an organization. So connecting it with numbers, ability to connect it with numbers. So
Right.
both qualitative and quantitative. When you're able to merge two, because you see, your scorecard, oh, my sister, is what your personal brand is all about.
Yeah.
I sit here and I get people referring me to others for almost all the hats I wear. If it's for events, if it's for HR consulting, it's for business consulting, public speaking, because people have seen or experienced me in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So that feedback, the feedback you get is your personal brand.
Right.
I hope I'm, yeah. So I experience Ophelia. Ophelia has value. A filler gives the value to me. I have a problem. That value turns my problem around. That is what I remember you for. So that's your
Mm-hmm.
personal brand.
Right.
Now bring it to the. I just want to say that foundation. So it's the unique value, the promise of value you give. to your audience or to your target, to your stakeholders. Promise
Mm-hmm.
of value. So that when Ophelia tells me I can do A, B, C, and D, and I bring her on board, she does not disappoint me.
Right.
Now let's bring personal branding into HR professions, the HR profession. So for personal branding, for an HR professional, any other profession, it is basically a purposeful, underline the word purposeful, demonstration of who you are,
Hmm.
what you stand for, and the value you, underline this, consistently bring to people, culture, and strategy. So
Would you
it
want
is,
to take that again?
it is, pardon?
Would you want to take that again?
So personal branding for the HR professional is a purposeful demonstration of who you are.
Okay.
It means that you intentionally express yourself in a certain way. What
Right.
you stand for, remember that in the HR profession, ethics there. You can't take it away.
Yep.
And the value you bring consistently to people, culture, and strategy.
Right. Okay.
So you cannot just represent people only. You cannot represent culture only. The most difficult part of our work is actually adding value to strategy, which a lot of us don't know how to do. And it's what the HR confraternity is trying to train, the entire ecosystem to be able to level up to.
Yeah.
Now, it is not even just how you demonstrate all of this internally, Ophelia.
Mm-hmm.
People must perceive you beyond where you work. So across industry, you must be spotlighted as a credible voice on workplace issues. You must be spotted as somebody who builds culture, and you must be spotted as somebody who is a champion of human potential.
Hmm.
Once you are able to craft this path map to this career journey, this map for yourself, huh? You have a personal brand. So let's talk about the influencers we have in the HR industry. Papa Gami,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Austin Gami,
Yeah.
Mrs. Stella uh,
Thing.
Juma Boating, Irina
Engineer.
Sari,
Yeah.
Irina Sari, Ama
Yeah.
Bene, Senyo, um,
Ajabeng.
Senyo Aja, I almost said Senyo Ozi, Senyo Ajabing, Dr. Jeff Bassi.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
And our birthday
names,
girl.
the names, when it comes to then Margaret Jackson,
Yeah.
these are, when we're talking about the pillars in Ghana, yeah, and this is
Yeah.
not all, this is just some. I've
Yeah.
not mentioned all. I mean the pillars, people that the likes of myself and yourself look up to.
Yeah.
And then when we go global, obviously David Ulrich, the father of HR,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have fantastic HR leaders, the vice president HR of top companies and what have you globally. There's a reason why we remember them. So coming home, why is Dr. Ostingami somebody will remember? He was highly useful in a contribution to the Labor Act. One of the is the when it comes to go-to ADR specialist, solving over how many numbers of company labor issues. When it comes to government policy, he's number one.
Mm-hmm.
I see where you're coming from. Dr.
Yeah.
Stella
Yeah.
Jimmy the same, has
Yes.
risen from civil service, solid HR innovations and projects she has done, her incredible impact on the lives of people as an HR leader
Yeah.
You just cannot take it away from her. And
Mm-hmm.
today she's a thought leader, even though she has moved away from core HR, but she's using her HR influence to where in the area where she is. Irina Sari, now a leader in HR in the BBC. She's moved from local to pure global, even though she's worked in global organizations here. Senior Aja being top notch, ADR. I mean, next to Austin Gami is him, labor
Mm-hmm.
consultant, knows the thing like the front
Back
and
to
back of
back.
his hands.
Yeah.
Jeff Bassi raising HR leaders in Ghana.
Right.
So this is what we're talking about. When they mention your name in the field, what is it about you that they say?
Mm.
In your organization, what do your people say about you? We cannot remove the fact that employees are very selfish. So they would value you based on what you do for them. And
They
when
get
you
from you.
don't
Yeah.
do them, then there's a reverse. That one is there. But genuinely, under the undertone of their selfish behaviors, they
Mm-hmm.
really know your brand. I tell you, in all my years of working as human resource in corporate Ghana, before I branched out to be alone, I also experienced the beautiful side and the back side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Low key, as we say in Ghana, low key, they come back to you when nobody is seeing you and tell you the truth without you them even need anything from you. Sometimes the issues come and they're like, you know what? I agree that this department is not working, but please, you cannot make Emily part of it. Do you have anybody fighting for your reputation like that? One time I
Yeah.
sat down and then they hired a boss. I used to be the only HR then, and they hired somebody more senior to me so that I can get more support and all that. But my CEO was not HR compliant. And this
Mm.
HR person came and I was supposed to be somebody that would cooperate with him and I was so happy to go. I felt I'm going to learn so much. Unfortunately, he didn't know anything in HR. He didn't know anything, but I didn't mind. Then, because of the insecurity he had for me, began to tell lies about me to the CEO. Unfortunately for him, I had created a brand already before he came. Listen to this
Great.
carefully, everyone that has issue fight dealing with superiors that don't like you and try to set you up. It's called surviving organizational politics. I had crafted myself a certain brand that was premised on character, ethics, people, culture. And I was always, when it came to business decisions, I was very close to the CEO because when it comes to strategy, he rested on his shoulder. So he taught me a lot, and I always contributed. Now he came, he couldn't do it, and it was obvious. So he didn't like me, and he
Mm.
didn't need to not like me because I wasn't there to actually outshine him. So whenever I did something, I did it in his name. You understand? But he
Yeah.
still didn't like the fact that I had to do things he couldn't do. So he did a document and sent it to the CEO. The CEO was on displeased with it and said he doesn't like this. That who did this? And then my boss then lied that I wrote that letter. Now, prior to him coming, I'd been the one writing letters. So when he came, obviously, because it's the highest signature, I had to sign. But I would have preferred that, or I'd have loved or appreciated that if you can't write a letter, let me write it. At least I'll put my name in the signature. Is that not it? If I put his name there, would they know I wrote the letter, Ophelia? No. He chose to behave arrogant and then he just got bent. When he told the CEO that I did it, unfortunately for him too, there was another person there who knew me, another senior manager who knew me. And they told my CEO that it is not true. He said, Emmeline did not do it. You get where I'm coming from? Ophelia, can you hear me? Hello, Ophelia. Am I still online? Oh, she's out of the show. Okay, so I'll continue whilst we hope she gets back in the room. And then, okay, I'll go ahead. Fine. Yeah. So, my boss came. One of the senior managers came to me, and he said, "Emmeline, we were told you did," and he brought a letter to me, and he said, "Emmeline, I was told that you did this letter, and I had never seen it before. I had never seen it in my life. And the tonation on the writing was what worried him. I want you to listen to this. Your personal brand has the way of permeating into everything you do, including the document you create. My CEO could tell that this was not Emmeline Datte's style. So when my boss then told him that, he didn't see anything. So when he left, the GM, who was my CEO, and they all both knew that this man was like, came to me and asked me, for sugar reasons, as we say in Ghana, did you do this? And he saw my body language, he could tell that indeed I didn't do it. And then that was how I was saved from that. And then he was harassed. Severally, he tried to do a lot of things against me. But what saved me, in fact, it was one of the most torturous experiences for me. What saved me at that moment was the perception I had created in the hearts of my supervisors. So my question to you is, what kind of perception have you created in the mind and in the eyes of your supervisors, your peers, and your colleagues? What do people remember you for? So, unlike generic branding, your professional brand as an HR must be deeply and uniquely rooted in empathy, influence, trust, and transformation. Whether you specialize in recruitment, training, organizational development, now we are moving into employee well-being, employee experience, or DEI, whatever it is you do, your fundamental question to yourself every day, ask yourself, why should people trust me as HR to help shape their career? Ask yourself that question. Why should anybody who hires you trust you to help them shape their employees' career lives? Why? So as you are in your profession, and I want to take this opportunity to let you know that I'll be starting an Elevate Your HR Profession with Emmeline soon. So I would go into this because this is just a 1 hour session which we cannot help. But I will not just be teaching, but actually practically giving you steps, and then you can elevate yourself from my experience, people's experiences, and then from research. So you must understand that people's lives in every organization matters and depends on you. So you should care about what? Credibility and influence. You should care about trust and connection. You should care about career growth, your personal growth. Don't stay static. You've come in there as an HR generalist and that is all you know. AI is trending. You have no idea about AI, no idea about tech, no about HR analytics. You cannot succeed. Public speaking and human resource matters. Contribution to policy. Nobody thinks about you. It's important to you. And there's this thing I learned when I was doing my research, further research. It says you should care about impact beyond the organizational chart. That blew my mind away. Be concerned about impact beyond what? The organizational chart. Every HR brand that is considered great has been able to shape how industries think about work, well-being, inclusion, and growth. That's why we say bring the human to the human resource. Don't just be technical in your job as an HR profession. Bring the human to the human resource. Understand that every HR practitioner or leader, you are the heartbeat of an organization. Yes, finance is the one to the blood nerve, or the nerve of the nerve cells of the organization is the finance, because we need money to move around. But that money without human beings, nothing can work. And your personal brand is how that heartbeat will be heard in your organization, within industries in your country, and also across the world. Very, very, very important here. I don't know how soon Olivia will come in, but I think I've seen a question that popped to me, and I will find my way to answer the next question. And that next question, the next question says, what are the biggest misconceptions that HR professionals have about personal branding? How can we debunk them? So I haven't heard a misconception, but I have seen behaviors that tell me that they have a misconception about HR. Okay, and research also have shown what some people have said. I personally have seen that many HR professionals in my area do not consider it as important. A few people have come to me saying that they want to learn from me, they want to level up their career, they want to do this and that. So I see that, yes, they see that there's a reason for doing it. But from what I have experienced, from what they can do, the gaps, let me say what the gaps, a lot of them don't put in conscious effort into raising their brands. So some people think that maybe HRs are not supposed to be at the spotlight, they should be at the background working for people and people should shine. No, that is not true. To be respected in the profession, and understand that the HR profession in Ghana today is so not respected, very, very not respected. So it's very important that you level up your image as an HR professional. If not, you are not going to, what's the word? Shine. All right, you are not going to shine. So, for example, my good friend and sister Cynthia Kodo, who is running an HR network, the HR Network Africa, for example, she has positioned herself as an influencer in helping to develop what HR professionals and advocates for excellence in the profession. That is a brand. So you see that she's always going all out, trying to help everybody to, and she wants to help everyone in the profession, however she can. And even though she's not doing core HR now, when she was in HR, she was so concerned about people, ensuring she connected strategy with people and all of that. So today, Cynthia, in the HR space that we have, she's known, and even she's even connected herself globally as well. She has global connections. So that is one way. Probably I'm answering another question that may pop up. One way of building a brand for yourself. How to build, so debunking and building a brand for yourself. So let's do it because of time. Okay, you need to be in the spotlight for positive moves. Involve yourself in a project. Be somebody who amplifies your voice in culture. Please, mental health and well-being, very important these days. I have moved into that level right now when it comes to human resources. Okay, we have seen that we need to focus or pay attention more to employees' well-being for maximum performance and productivity. So be it in HR leadership, employee experience, recruitment, whatever it is, you need to be perceived as somebody that is beyond administration to what strategy. Okay, don't just be enforcers of policy, be thought leaders in the industry by working hand in hand with HR professionals to contribute by giving ideas, starting up a project, maybe like what I'm coming to do now, right? Like the personal brand I want to do for the HR profession. We just want to push the agenda so that the industry is rich. Okay, so you need to be able to take it serious. Not only executives and entrepreneurs need a personal brand, please. You need it. It's very important. Whether you're an HR professional, an accountant, a banker, a lawyer, every professional needs a personal brand. It's very important for what? Career growth. That is what pushes you ahead of the game. It's very, very, very what? Important. So another question that has popped up here to me, what are the essential steps for any HR professional who wants to start building a personal brand today? So like I said, reach out to me on LinkedIn, my DM, or reach out to Sidat, and then I will sign you up for my Elevate Your HR Profession with Emmeline, and then get you started. But what I can tell you is this. Like I said, you need to start by asking yourself why. Or reach out to Sidat, and then what is my why? Elevate Your HR Profession. What do I want to be known for? So choose 1 to 3 areas that reflect your strengths, your values, and passion in HR. And then when you are done, we audit your digital presence. So that's the things I normally that would help you do an audit, to get to one thing when I'm coaching, doing career coaching, I will ask you first, what is your LinkedIn account? And I'll go through it and then advise you, I'll take you through and then tell you what to do. Then you need to also define your audience. Who do you want to perceive you? At work, your peers, aspiring professionals, industry leaders, or every one of them in there. It's up to you. You don't need to reach out to everybody. Just make sure you focus on getting the right people, whether it's locally or intentionally. And then try to share content. Share content. LinkedIn especially. If you are too busy, put on a schedule. LinkedIn as a schedule it, and talk about trends, lessons you're observing, lessons you have learned, questions you're asking, experiences you've had. Just share. But more importantly, Let people see you as a human being. Let people see you as a consistent person. Okay. Let people see you as authentic. It's very, 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 very what important. Do we have Ophelia back? Okay. She's not back yet. So I have another
Sorry
question.
about that
Are
technical.
you here? Yes, you have something. Yeah, the internet
Yes,
is
I'm
not being a
here.
friend
Can you hear
today,
me
but I've been receiving your questions
at all?
and I've been answering. Yes, so I was about to answer
Okay.
how HR professionals can communicate their unique selling or their unique value proposition before I heard you come in. So I'll answer that and I'll
Right.
let you proceed from there. So I think this question is connected to the first one that I answered. Um, how can you harness, how can we identify our UVP? What when somebody wants to hire an HR person. I remember those days when I was still available in the market, and even when I was out of it. I get phone calls. Emmeline, I want to send your CV for this role, and I kept telling them I'm not interested. I was just breaking hearts. They believed that Emily can do this job. I told them I was done. I was so done with corporate Ghana. I didn't have the energy anymore to find myself in the corporate space again. And so many offers were coming. I kept saying no. Offers that would have paid me better than me being an entrepreneur, but I chose my peace of mind. Okay. So
Mm,
your goal is important. Whatever is important to you, chase. Some people don't mind 9 to 5 because they cannot have the strength like some of us as entrepreneurs have to juggle between a lot and do. So it's okay. Like I said, craft, know yourself, and then craft your niche, and then create your own world space. Okay, very, very, very important. So basically, you need people to, now. When we talk about your unique selling points or unique value proposition, what is it about you that stands out? So, who you serve, what you do best, and why it matters. For example, so I remember I asked Ophelia what her personal brand statement was. So we have an example here saying I help fast growing organizations. So fast growing organizations. Some of you may say I help SMEs or startups, okay, or organizations that in a situation like in a fix, build emotionally intelligent leadership and inclusive cultures that scale. That's an example. And then when they ask you for further information, you give an example of what you've done to articulate this value proposition. It's very, very, very important. And also your LinkedIn page, highlight it, all that, communicate it where it counts. Your LinkedIn, email signature and bio, introduction. So make sure you have a profile, guys. Have a personal profile. So when they say they want your profile, not just your CV, a brief biography about you is very important. All right. And so that when they invite you for speaking engagements and panels, you will not be found wanting. We are actually organizing an event in August, and we are collecting pictures for flyers, and some of the pictures, our graphic designers are like, I can't work with this, I can't work with that. Please invest in going to the studio and take pictures. It's not expensive. It's one-time thing you'll do, and you can keep recycling. I beg you, try once in a year. Use three different clothing and take some nice corporate pictures. It's not good for you to be, you see, opportunity comes when you're not prepared, you look clumsy, and nobody will respect you. The kind of
right.
power pictures you take also communicates who you are. It's very, very important. And also, please try to position yourself as a thought, so that what we call thought leader, a thought partner. Okay, a thought partner where you're not just a problem solver, but they see you're someone who can provide guidance in the industry. So use your value proposition to what? Position yourself as somebody who doesn't just know about HR policies, but you shape people's strategy with what? Emotional intelligence and business acumen. Listen, as an HR professional, if you don't cannot contribute to business acumen, nobody will respect you. Where you come into a boardroom and they're speaking numbers and you're confused, you will never be respected. You must understand how businesses start, how businesses grow, how businesses are sustained, how businesses fail, how businesses recover from failure, and how businesses will thrive after failure. If as an HR professional you cannot speak to this, nobody will respect you. If you don't know anything about strategic management, nobody will receive you, take you seriously. If you don't understand cost management, financial engineering, nobody will respect you. Don't limit yourself to what the HR books, the quantitative HR books you've been reading. Look for HR literature that connects qualitative with what quantitative, then you will have the respect. You would even know how, you would even be very useful when it comes to training, and then succession planning, people development, ensuring that there's correct supply and demand of labor. There's a balance between that for the business. And you can also anticipate training needs, understand the trends to keep your business afloat through proper people management. All right. Okay, Ophelia. So I'm done with that.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. I think it's been so informative, and you've pretty much touched on a number of questions that have come up. I particularly like the part where you spoke about investing in self. The truth of the matter is, even if it's expensive, you're investing in yourself, and it's going to pay you back later. So that's not investing. It's too expensive, even if it's for yourself, because you know what you are, the value you are going to get from it. So, it's. I mean, you are spot on. And you mentioned LinkedIn, which takes me to my next question. When it comes to mediums or options for platforms to use for personal branding, is LinkedIn all there is, or are there other options, other channels that can be considered? And what kind of, so whilst you're answering that, what kind of content works for these various platforms if they are applicable?
All right. So I'm gonna give it about three or four of them. So the most common, we have YouTube. And for YouTube, YouTube helps you to build visual and verbal presence, and it's very great for storytelling. All right.
Mm,
The kind of content, basically, workplace culture insights, a day in a life, vlogs. Oh, a day in a, today at work, day one, you know today, and a conference, day two, things like that. Workplace culture insights, things. If you go to my page, Amanidate, you will get an idea of the kind of things. Then some people like to invest in video, so short explainer videos with cap cuts on your phone. You can easily do that. And then the other popular one, we have Instagram. Instagram is also good for storytelling, visuals. Instagram basically is more about pictures and videos. And then also you can also do behind the scenes, HR, life and all that. HR people too like to chill. Oh. Recently we had some HR events, some tour. I know so that's gonna do some soiree very soon, So those are the things that we like to do. We have award nights and everything, So I mean, content involves, yeah, basically um anything that happens in the office, or maybe some thoughts that come to your mind as an HR. As an HR professional, you always deal with people issues. So there are things, there's a lot to always talk about. Okay.
mm,
Then as for
mm.
Twitter, is always for real-time conversations, short chats. I rarely use Twitter for my content, except for the events I do. Yes, so I would then say probably you can move to podcasts. Podcast is the trending thing now. We encourage every career person to go into podcast. Even myself, I am late in starting my podcast. I've done some lives in the past, but we become so busy chasing money that you really have time for these things. But we are planning to get back to it. So with podcasting, it helps you to build your voice authority and credibility. And so you can talk about issues, HR and the future of work, AI and impact on HR, employee well-being and its impact on productivity. I mean, a lot of these things are things that you can actually, and I've seen some of our colleagues on the platform doing a lot of newsletters. So you can write for a newspaper. Senior Jabing is very good at that. I think Ostingami as well, Papa Ostingami as well, sharing thoughts and insights on anything in a human resource. I think the that digest is also there. We have writers that contribute to it. And so these are things you can do. And finally, I would say you can join Clubhouse. Clubhouse is also another professional platform. You can, join there, join rooms, and then discuss on topics and contribute to ideas on certain HR issues that are trending and are very important to us.
Right, right. Would you say Reddit is also an option?
I have never tried Reddit before. I know Reddit is mostly the IT people like to use Reddit. And I've also
Mm,
seen some people go to Reddit for solutions. So somebody will say, I have a problem, and then Reddit gives the chance for people to come and give solutions from experience. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know whether the HR platform, when I type HR stuff on Google, I don't think I've ever been transferred to Reddit. What I know is Quora.
Right.
Quora.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
know about Quora. As for that one, any when I want to how to do what those days when I was trying to learn a lot on job evaluations and whatnot, when you type it, you see Quora will bring you a lot
Yeah.
of options from people who have experience. Yeah. So Reddit,
Right.
I am not sure. I'm here to discover, but we can all research and see whether Reddit is relevant to us as HR professionals. Okay.
I think it has some relevance, but like just like you rightly said, it's more tech savvy. So the experience I've had with Reddit is HR tech related queries.
Aha, exactly, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
fantastic. Great. Thank you so much. If you're just joining us, this is the SIDAT HR Digest. Today we are treating the topic personal branding for HR professionals. And you've missed, but the good thing is it's being recorded, so you can always go back and check the playback. I'm insisting on that because there's a lot of gems Emmeline, our guest, has shared with us, and we really would want to catch up on that. Before we continue, I just want to highlight that SEDAT HR Consult is organizing once again the training for compensation and building a competitive salary structure. This time around, we have the Kumasi edition coming on 3rd and 4th of July. So we would share the phone number that you can, or you can go on any of your socials, so that's HR Consult, and get in touch with us. But would run the phone numbers with you by the end of the live stream so that you can call and make your registrations. All right, moving on. We have a few minutes to go. So quickly, Emily, you mentioned when I asked about the content and the channels, thought leader, the part about thought leadership, using your experience, when you mentioned the likes of Senior, Pagame, and Madame Stella, Jenny Boatin, and the likes. Now, these are people who have put in the years, put in the work. They have the stuff, they know their onions and all of that. How about, in contrast, HR professionals who are new? So they haven't had any professional exposure yet, or arguably little exposure. And they've jumped onto this and they are considering beginning the process of personal branding. Is that possible? How would they go about it in an authentic way and still make themselves relevant, irrespective of their very little experience?
Oh, it's very possible. You know, the journey of a man begins with one step, and all of the ideas I've shared on building a brand also relate with those who are new. It's just that you need to know exactly where you're coming from. So when I said ask yourself why, your why, the next thing is where. Where are you? Okay, where are you? So you need to know where you are to begin to start planning and take it to where you need to be. But it's very important for you to, build a brand for yourself with clarity and intentionality. Okay,
Mm,
it is not reserved for seasoned professionals with 10 years or 20 years in the game. You know, the truth is that if you're a fresh starter, you have an advantage, than those who have been in the game and they never even built a brand for themselves. Right? You are now starting, you will not make a mistake. So this is the time for you to take opportunity and then learn from seasoned voices you admire, people you love, people you want to be with security. Focus on that with reflection, adaptability, and courage. Don't be afraid, don't be shy. You need to develop a lot of confidence. There are people who come to me and they say they want me to groom them, they want me to coach and mentor them. There are a lot. I think Irasa was doing some mentorship program before she traveled, and she really impacted a lot of HR professionals. I think we have the HR center that also has a mentorship platform and all that for young HR professionals. So these are things that you can explore to get yourself prepared. But get a mentor. Okay, get a mentor in a profession. We have like we mentioned, the big guns in the industry. Get them either as role models if you can't reach them in person, and follow all their pages, follow their content. All of them are on social media. You always find them, and the likes of Dr. Game, Dr. Jebasi, Senor Ejabing, Dr. Stella Ejenim Boateng, Madam Margaret Jackson, and even Madam Dana Mwako. If you go and look for them on social media, you will find all of them and you will learn a lot because they are very involved in sharing a lot of content. So please, if you are an HR professional and you don't like sharing stuff on social media related to your practice, especially, and even your life as a human being, you will not, and I'll say again, you will not be able to build a brand for yourself. Storytelling on the digital platform is very important. You know, it helps people to identify and find you in places that you don't need to travel. Okay, I sit here and I get emails from LinkedIn. People say, I saw your LinkedIn page, I want you to come and do training for my company, I want you to come and help me develop an HR policy or a strategy or whatever. Most of the business contacts I have made as an entrepreneur has been from social media. So please, let us always take advantage of it. We organized, or we supported the organization of an HR event. I got there and I had people were calling my name, and I didn't know any of them, to be honest. But they were my LinkedIn connections. But personally, the way I know your Ophelia, I didn't know them. And they called my name like as if we had known each other for a long time. And I was so kind to respond to them. And I was like, where did we know each other? And like almost all them mentioned LinkedIn. And they're giving me certain appraisals. And I told myself, I'm doing something right. Every HR professional or whatever professional you are, if you use LinkedIn wisely, you will get the results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that for sure LinkedIn is powerful. I mean, the tools are available to us. It's really up to us to decide how we want to use it and learn as part.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Before I go on to my next question, let me talk about an event that's coming just before I forget. The HR story, yeah, because you just mentioned about networking. And so if you are here on the HR Digest, you should know that the second edition of the SIDAT HR Digest soiree, I have to let the French people teach me how to pronounce it.
Don't bite your tongue. Oh.
It's coming on this August, 1st of August at 4 p.m. at the British Council Auditorium. And so, again, you want to contact SIDAT to know the details. Please note this number down: 059 140 5555. The other number is 024 462 9245. Please note down these numbers and contact us, or contact us through the social channels: LinkedIn, IG, Facebook, YouTube. Leave a message and we'll get right back to you. Okay. So a few minutes. I'll make this my last question and we'll answer it quickly before we run out of time. So with regards to perception, you know how you mentioned earlier that if all you know, I call it paper pushing. If all the years in HR you've been a paper pusher, there's nothing you're putting on out there. So basically, you've put in the years, but no one has heard about you. Unfortunately, that's the kind of perception a lot of people have about HR professionals. And so I think personal branding comes in to sort of help save the day. And so as one learn to position themselves properly as a business partner in a way of changing that perception that HR practitioners are policy police, hirers and firers, paper pushers, as I say. How do to reposition and change that conception? Like you said, and the various platforms are there within the ecosystem to help correct this. So how do we begin the process for people who are into and interested in personal branding?
Forgive me, I'm yawning. I'm so tired, but I'm still here. The hustle is real. So let me tell you this, it's
How
not an easy
you
journey. Don't admire
hmm,
people. You see a lot of titles. It's the sacrifices are huge. So get ready for that. I remember being in that state, like I said earlier, and what I had to do was to position myself in a way that was a flip of what they knew.
hmm,
I needed to be a living proof that HR is beyond compliance. It's all about impact, leadership, and culture. I needed to prove that. Whatever it was I was doing, I needed to show people that I was beyond that. I remember when I would always share content on, best practice in HR, and my employees would go there and comment, HR, tell them, the HR, papa, oh, HR, HR, Charlie, God bless you. Those are things you need to do. And don't just write to when the problem come. Sometimes management can put you in a very difficult situation that makes you
Right.
look bad. Oh Lord.
Yeah,
One of the reasons why I left Omega. They try to make you look like the devil in the story.
I tell you.
One thing people knew me for was that I would never budge, I would never bend, I would never break. If I don't stand for it, I don't stand for it. And if it's something that I feel like as management we need to speak as one body, then I have to find my way out because my reputation was too much for me to lose because certain people did not care about theirs. Okay,
Right.
so it's very, very, very important for people to know what you stand for. Don't be one-sided, be central, be neutral, please. And always give your answers to questions from management with what business information. Okay, why
Yep.
are we paying staff allowances and not just salary? You must understand inflation, you must understand the impact of the CD on the cost of living. You must understand living, what the LSM,
Yes.
the lifestyle metrics or whatever. I can't remember what it means. I'll check it again. You must understand these things to give your justification. If we give our staff allowance, all the all the training we've given them, all the experiences, they won't live with it, they won't go away with it. They will work twice harder, we will produce twice more. Who doesn't want to hear that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously make sure you don't just talk the talk when they call you for. There are people who we've seen them going for as speakers, as HR practitioners, but in the office they are different people. I mean, why? Don't be HR hypocrite, it will help you. Finally, I'll say this: the most important to my heart, be a role model of empathy. Be an HR who can blend emotional intelligence with strategic thinking. When both management and employees see you as a model for empathy and business acumen, your respect will go pff. When you tell them that this salary you're giving you is small, they will understand because you will be an HR that they can really find. Be
Yeah.
friendly, be friendly with your business partners in the sense that be relevant to them, be there to help them, be there to support them. Okay, it's very, very important that personal branding helps you control your own narrative. Personal branding helps you as a professional control your narrative. And when your narrative is rooted or grounded in impact, in values and innovation, my goodness, your profession will go off the roof. And that is exactly what you want, isn't it?
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I think you just hit the nails on all the right spots. And like Emily said at the beginning, this said that said that HR digest, there's not enough time for her to go into the nitty-gritties of the personal branding. But we are the hope is that, or the goal is that this conversation triggers something in us or our viewers and our listeners and those who come in later, and cause them to begin the thought process of considering the fact that personal branding is not as trivial and frivolous as certain people might have misconstrued it to be. It's actually a very critical thing if you are looking to grow and aspire to higher heights in the field of HR or in your profession at large. And so, thank you so much, Emmeline, for your wise nuggets that you have shared. And she's into personal, professional branding as well. So, if you want to expand the conversation, you have the resource right here, Emmeline Date, and she's an absolute joy to work with. So, please do get in touch, and she'll definitely help you in figuring out how to navigate the waters of personal branding, if I can put it that way. So, thank you so much, Emmeline, for your time and all that you have shared. Time will not allow us to go any further, but I think we've shared enough information. And so, for viewers, this has been the SIDAT HR Digest. My name, Ophelia Nyamicha, have been your anchor for today. I hope you enjoyed the subject matter and you have picked out a thing or two that would help you. As I earlier mentioned, we have the Kumasi edition of the training on competitive salary structure systems, building competitive salary structure systems, which is happening 3rd and 4th of July. And you need to call 059-140-5555 for further details. Also, there's the soiree that is happening on the 1st of August at 4 p.m. at the British Council Auditorium. You call the same number 059-140-5555 or 024-462-9245 for more details. Thank you so much for your time, and let's all have a wonderful week ahead of us. Bye for now.